Hi, this is Carlos of the Chronicles of Carlos, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the first chapter of a book that I'm putting together and a survey that I've done recently, and I'll be blogging about today on my website, chroniclesofcarlos.com, and that is the idea that just because Bigfoot could be proven, should it? As a scientist, of course, that's what I would like to see. I'd like to see the evidence, and so would many other scientists. Now, I've got the advantage or disadvantage, if you will, of being a knower. I've had 3 Bigfoot encounters, so that I know that they're there. There are also believers, and there are wanna-believers who are skeptical and would like to get some evidence. I think it all comes down ultimately to a question of authentication, some authority stating that these things are real rather than just the general public like you and me saying that they're out there. Science is typically, or the government, the names that I hear come to mind. So without further ado, today I'm going to share with you ideas that are very aligned with what I'm going to be putting in that chapter, and I read them in a book that was written by Autumn Williams, and that book is called Enoch, Bigfoot Story. I'm going to be reading to you from chapter 5, which she titles Winning the Lottery. And again, it relates directly to some of the main themes that I'm going to talk about in the beginning of my ebook. Just because it could be proven, should it be? People who believe that Bigfoot exists generally do so for a personal reason. Maybe they've had a sighting, and that was proof enough for them. Or perhaps they've examined the masses of anecdotal evidence in the form of eyewitness encounters and have concluded that there is sufficient corroborating evidence to support its existence. Likewise, skeptics are often skeptical for a reason. The idea of Bigfoot's existence threatens their sensibilities, their dogma, be it scientific, religious, or otherwise. A hunter who has spent 30 years hunting the same woods and has never seen anything like that might feel that the existence of such a creature threatens his perceived knowledge of everything that's in the woods. And maybe the thought of running into one just plain scares the daylights out of him deep down inside. So he discounts it because he's a big, burly fella, and skeptical anger is more comfortable to him than fear. He's wood savvy and knows what to expect when he's out there. Something in the woods that he doesn't understand scares him and takes away his feeling of control. A scientist who's snidely skeptical, explaining that there simply aren't enough food sources available in the Pacific Northwest, in an attempt to close the book on the subject, might feel deeply threatened by the idea that there are still things in this world that his many years of expensive and time-consuming education didn't cover. Accepting the idea that something like that exists publicly would threaten his credibility, and therefore his ego. It's something he can't control with hard facts and data, and placed neatly in a little box marked Explained. A deeply religious man might discount the existence of Bigfoot simply because it doesn't fit in with his belief system. It threatens his carefully accepted dogma about how the world is, and it scares him that there may be an unknown quantity out there that isn't explained within the context of his belief system. In all 3 of these examples, the unexplained causes the fear, and thus the carefully crafted yet vehement disregard for the creature's existence. Something that is unexplained, and therefore not understood, cannot be controlled. Fear begets anger. That anger might be expressed in many different ways. What a bunch of crap. I've been in these woods 30 years and there ain't nothing like that out there. There aren't enough food sources to support an 800-pound primate in the forests of North America. Therefore, they simply cannot exist. It doesn't say anything about Bigfoot in the Bible. The words are different. The logic is different. The individuals speaking come from vastly diverse backgrounds, but the fear is the same. People who vehemently dismiss the existence of Bigfoot do so because they feel threatened by the subject for one reason or another. Would they then put aside their fear and accept proof? Some don't believe in Bigfoot because they're simply ignorant. It's not that they have a problem with its existence. They just don't know much about the subject at all and don't care to. They disregarded Bigfoot's existence a long time ago based on what little exposure they've had to the subject, mainly tongue-in-cheek newscasters, misinformation in the press, and a general apathy toward anything but the smarmiest and most sensational Bigfoot headlines in the mass media. I thought that whole thing was proven to be a hoax years ago. Didn't some guy come forward and confess to making all those footprints? The root of the word ignorance is to ignore. It doesn't mean there isn't more information available. It just means these people aren't paying very close attention. They are, very simply, not qualified to be skeptics. Skepticism has no weight, no credibility, when one's opinion is based upon bias, ignorance, disinformation, or a lack of education. So what exactly would constitute proof for all these skeptical folks? Imagine the following scenario, one that Bigfoot researchers regularly dream of. A body is discovered. Scientists examine the body, determine it to be a North American bipedal primate of unknown origin. It hits the news. All those skeptics are going to eat their words, right? The hunter watches with mild interest. Well, there ain't none of them things in my woods. I would have seen him. He changes the channel. The scientist now accepts the existence of Sasquatch because it's fashionable to do so. We've determined that these creatures are omnivores and spend a great deal of their time searching for food. He never mentions the fact that he summarily dismissed their existence based upon a lack of viable food sources and hopes no one brings it up. He's the guy everyone calls when they want an interview or a soundbite regarding Bigfoot. Much to the chagrin of the layperson researchers who consider themselves experts on the subject. The religious man carefully places the creature in amongst all of God's other animals and ignores any subsequent reports about their DNA being closer to ours than chimps. The ignorance? They remain ignorant. I thought they killed the Bigfoot creature and dissected him, because in their minds, there was always only one Bigfoot, and the subject is no more important to them now than it ever was. Will the body on a slab really show all the skeptics and put an end to the mystery? In the end, who is the proof for? What purpose will it ultimately serve? Will it genuinely provide protection? Growing up in Oregon, I saw firsthand the devastation on timber communities caused by the protection of the spotted owl. Imagine the impact a large, human-like primate would create. Where would funds for complex study and management of this new wildlife come from? Alternatively, if it's decided that there's something closer to human, would we attempt to round up the Sasquatch and stick them on reserved lands? How would we hope to contain something that wanders for a living and could snap us in half like a twig if we tried to contain it? Would we end up shutting down all the forest land, the logging, and recreation in order to protect this newly discovered species? Or send emissaries in an attempt to civilize them? I suspect that if government officials are aware of the existence of these creatures, the last thing they'd want is for the public to be aware of it. Public outcry would force the hand of the authorities to manage and protect something that is inherently unmanageable. Better to let it remain a myth. So there you have it. What do you think? Please leave your comments below and like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And check out all my videos on YouTube at my Chronicles of Carlos channel, as well check me out on other social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and my website. Please subscribe. I've got a blog there, and I do surveys there and post results regularly, and also take people's Bigfoot reports on that website, and that is at thechroniclesofcarlos.com. Until next time, stay healthy, stay wealthy, and keep in love. Salud, dinero, y amor. Stay squatchy, my friends.